Hey, this is Leif Johnson. I reviewed Void Destroyer for IGN, and this is our review commentary so you can see some of the stuff I talked about in action. This game was heavily inspired by Homeworld, which was one of the first real-time strategy games set in space back in 1999, and the game gave you a really good idea of what it was like to be if you actually fought inside, say, one of those big battles that you saw in Star Wars or Star Trek. But the difference was, is that it was mainly, based on the tactical mode, which I can't actually access right now here. The big difference here with this one is that it actually allows you to get into the cockpit of the ships and experience what your fighters are fighting at, whereas Homeworld mainly focused on the mothership and basically send in your little minions out in the battle. And this one, however, you actually get to be the minions, and it's kind of cool for that very fact. So in this one, what we're doing is we're attacking this group called the Miners United. That's right. The enemies of this game are basically a bunch of poor miners who presumably want better wages or something like that. So we're out there killing them. To be fair, they attacked us first. But in the process, what I'm doing is I'm giving them what they can. That was a pretty good shot. And on each of the ships, you have the primary weapon, and you got a secondary one there, which I think I just got them with. And it's all in all, it's pretty fun. Kind of reminds me of Freelancer a little bit, which is funny because I am a freelancer. And also X-Wing, TIE Fighter, that kind of stuff. So it's really cool going from a real-time strategy element into that. And it's a really good game in this regard for people like me who kind of prefer a more action-y element. And I think, as a result, it serves as a very good counterpart to Gearbox's remastered versions of... I think we're out of enemies here, but the remastered versions of Homeworld, they're going to be out at the end of the month. So what this is, we've completed the first mission. This shows you some of the idea of the story that you'll see involved. It's really cool. It's a cel-shaded artwork that's very familiar to Borderlands and the like, so it gives you an idea of what it would be like if the stuff in Borderlands was growing up in outer space. But there's some humor in here, like when you're in the tutorials. Ouch, that must have hurt. The guy says that, you have to shoot this ship that's just sitting there, and he says, great job, attacking that poor defenseless ship. You're, really a great captain, sir. And it's little stuff like that. Not the most hilarious stuff in the world, but it's funny. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And I'm just going through the opening story moments. Most of it's told through this. There's no voice acting. The amazing thing is that this is pretty much the work of essentially one person. The developers, the sound and the music and stuff, I believe, was outsourced. But everything else is largely the work of one person. And so considering that, it's not too surprising that there's no voice work in here. And it's pretty amazing. To play. So right now we're going to get an idea of what it's like to fly the big cruiser here, and this gets you some idea of the comic book inspired panels that serve as the cutscenes and stuff. And see, this is the way that the game is actually explaining away that the fact that you can actually control the mothership and all the ships around you, because you have your head plugged right into the rest of the ships. And that'd be awfully convenient. But as I say in the review, that would certainly make some things easier when it starts getting more complicated down the line. So in this next mission, this one originally, that's right, we have to do this. Pretty soon, right now, we're going to switch to command mode, and we're going to blow up this gun. And this gun might have a nuclear explosion, so we can't have that happen, so we just get it out of the way. And now, this was actually a really hard mission, so I hope I don't screw it up. Let's see. What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to get over here to this little Stargate over here and get out. And as we do this, so here's all my little buddies around here. Everybody's going to start coming after me. So I'm going to line up here, and we're going to go. Now, I believe at this point, you should be able to see that if you put it on backspace, you get on cruise, and boom, just start going there by hammering down the equal sign. Now, here's the big thing. we're now at the point where we can see the tactical mode. And I want to get over there and let's see, make sure I'm going at full speed here. There is no speed limit in here. I just said full speed, but there is no speed limit because the game is based on Newtonian physics, which is cool in itself. You can just keep on going and going with the momentum. Now here's the big thing. You can switch between different ships and stuff. So there's actually an achievement here where you can actually fight off all of the guys. And so yeah. And so see, as I've switched off from the main ship into one of these little fighters here. And that way I can defend it as it's moving. And this is one of the main things that's so appealing about this game. And the nice thing here is in this little thing, I can actually prove which one so I'm going to go back to my main ship. And I'm going to see that I've accidentally let it stop moving. So that's not very good. Already at 66%. But in the tactical mode, this is where a lot of people prefer to spend their time. And eventually I'm going to activate this gate, but I'm still too far away to do that. So we'll get back out of here. Now let's just keep moving. That's way too slow. I don't want you guys to be sitting here forever. But your AI will keep attacking. It's only fun, you know, to get in there. And you can see my turrets, even though I'm still trying to go fast. They're still attacking for me. Now we're going. People are finally starting to shoot at me. And like I just punched T right there, you can actually target the people that are attacking you. And at this point, I actually just want to get through this. Now here's the thing. If I remember correctly, I actually have this difficulties down. The difficulty is not like easy, medium, and hard. It's only like this. A little bit more forgiving. Player ships takes 15% less damage, and you can lower the enemy health by 10, 20, or 30%. So the challenge is always still there. And that's really nice because it is a very challenging game. And later on, you can play, it's not available here, but you can actually play these little instant scenarios where you can actually set up the game to play it as you will. It's kind of annoying to get through this stuff. It takes a lot of trial and error when you're playing the game through the campaign. But once you unlock these little instant missions, it's fun to go back and play, and see if you can actually do this. Handle these scenarios under varying circumstances with new enemies and stuff. So yes, this is a case of what we're going to do. We're going to use the tactical mode. Got that selected. No, I don't. Going to activate that gate. Gate is now activated. Going to get out. And we have done it, guys. But like I said, again, I actually had the health slightly reduced. So, there we go. And we're going to now enter the huge phase now in which we're going to actually start building our base. The game gets a little harder. Like Homeworld, it actually, has you carry on a persistent fleet, the same fleet that you have now. And later on, you're not going to be able to build stuff. And it's really important that you hand on to your stuff. And it's not really stated right here, but at first, it's probably a good idea just to keep building up your fleet to the utmost that you can. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. But that's the thing. The challenge of this is pretty unforgiving at times, but the challenge is also the appeal of the game. It's one of those little great things that you can get from indie developers, whereas a bigger developer might have chickened out of this kind of thing. So we're now at the point, I believe a dude should show up to talk to me. There he is. And we're going to start building our base, pardon me. And so, yeah, a little bit of the humor there. Thank my fragile brainstem. Thank you, lazy doctors. So, yeah. Considering that in some ways I didn't even really need a story, it's not bad. So yeah. So say we got this now. Now we actually have something to look at in tactical mode. And over here, build ships. So I can click on this and build it. And then go back on ship mode because I pressed that by accident. And you can build a platform, build a transfer platform. And then build. And so it's like that. Now, the thing is, it takes a lot of time to get used to this stuff, and you can move around with the right mouse button here. But let me show you something. this is the this is kind of like the tutorials. Now there are tutorials where it actually puts everything into action that you can access from the main menu screen, and it puts you through little missions. At the end, it all wraps it up with this nice little mission that does you through everything. But this is basically everything that there is to know about this game, and I'll be honest with you, it's really daunting. A lot of this is very important information. Some of it is redundant. It does seem at times like there's a little bit, too much to do as far as switching between views of the camera. So say for a second here, we can go to the cockpit, and we can go to chase mode, and we can go to orbital, which kind of lets you look around it for scenery and stuff. And then you have command mode. And then, of course, you have the tactical mode, which is what people from Homeworld are going to be the most familiar with. But it gets very tough. The mission almost following right after this, you have this gigantic drill coming towards you, which just tries to mow you down. It took me a long time to defeat it, and as a result, my review did not get to the editor as soon as it probably should have. But it's turned into a really fun game for me, despite the fact that all this stuff actually gets very overwhelming the first few hours that you're into it. And matter of fact, I've been away from the game for about a day now, and I'm actually still trying to remember where some of this stuff goes. But it is a worthy successor to Homeworld, and considering that Gearbox is having its remastered version come out just in a couple of days, it's also a very welcome alternative. The first-person aspect, which is really well done, lends a very nice differentiation to the gameplay that makes it a little bit more fun, where you're just not looking at this green neon map all the time. And for all that, this is the reason why I gave Void Destroyer a 7.1. And so consider it a good alternative to Homeworld. And if this type of thing appeals to you, jump on in. I personally found it worth it, but the thing is, you really got to keep in mind what you're getting into.